Hello friends, welcome you all for this today's special class where new pattern on the topic called quadratic equation. Friends, this is one of the new pattern, right? Why? Because mostly those who are preparing for a bank exams, they might see these types of question. They used to solve daily these types of quadratic equation question. Friends, remember that the recent SBI PO 2016, out of 5 equation, in one equation where you can see a question like this, which is inside the bracket, which is 4 plus root 3. Friends, remember that if it is y minus root of 125 equal to 0, we can easily crack those questions and say x is greater than or y is greater than. But look at the question here, friends. This is called as a new pattern on quadratic equation. Can you see the question? Where every question has that is 8 root 5, 4 root 5. So these are the different patterns that can be asked in IBPS PO or IBPS Clerk 2016. Friends, remember that this is one of the questions that is asked in SBI PO 2016. So there is a chance to ask in IBPS PO also. You are my subscriber, so I don't want you people to lose 1 mark in your bank exam. So I have decided to teach this 5 different questions that is based on quadratic equation. By seeing this question, don't worry about that whether there is a lengthy procedure or not. I am ready to help you by using our shortcut tricks to solve all the 5 quadratic equation. Friends, remember that kindly, if you are not having time to watch now, kindly download it, and before going IBPS PO, just have a glance. Why? Because it is called as a new pattern. If 5 questions are in IBPS PO like this, you should not leave the question, right? So let me move on to all the different 5 questions, and by using a shortcut trick, this question can be also solved in 15 or 20 seconds. So let me move on to this question now. Let me move on to the new pattern, that is first question on the topic called quadratic equation. Friends, look at the first question. X square minus 6 root 3x minus 48 equal to 0. Y square minus root 2y minus 24 equal to 0. Friends, I think the new pattern which we used to call it as, here the number are inside the root, that is 6 root 3 or 8 root 14 like that, right? So friends, what is the trick that we can use here is most important, right? So friends, listen carefully. I think you are my subscriber. You have watched all my day 1 till day 11, I think so. Every day we have posted one quadratic equation where our first target is to write this number minus 48. Friends, got it? This is our first target, minus 48. Listen carefully. Here it is 6 root 3. Friends, do one thing, that just put root 3 here. Friends, got it? Here, because of root 3, I am just going to put root 3. Friends, root 3 into root 3, the resultant will be 3. Friends, got it? Our first target to write the number minus 48 here. And look at the number here. Here it is minus 6 root 3. Don't bother about minus 6. Just see, here it is root 3. So write it as root 3 and root 3 here. First step number 1. Step number 2. Root 3 into root 3 will be 3. Friends, got it? Root 3 into root 3 will be 3. What number, if I multiply into 3, that is the value which is multiplied into 3, the resultant should be 48. I can say that 16 into 3 is 48. Friends, got it? 16 into 3 is 48. Now step number 3, look at the number here, friends. Here it is minus 6. So I can write this as 8 into 2. 8 into 2 is 16. In order to bring minus 6, I can say that minus 8 plus 2. So I am just going to write minus 8 and plus 2. Friends, any doubt? Listen carefully. Step number 1, minus 48. Step number 2, just look at what number is inside the root. Here it is root 3. So in both the sides, root 3. After writing root 3 into root 3 will be 3. So the number that which multiplied into 3, the resultant should be minus 48. So I can say that 16 into 3 is 48, and 16 is to be split into 2 factors, that is in order to bring minus 6. So 8 into 2 is 16. Minus 8 plus 2. When we add both the numbers, friends, listen carefully. When we add both the numbers, that is minus 8 root 3 plus 2 root 3 will be minus 6 root 3. When we multiply both the numbers, minus 8 into 2 will be 16, that is minus 16. Root 3 into root 3 will be 3. Friends, got the idea? If I add both the numbers, minus 6 root 3. If I multiply both the numbers, minus 8 and plus 2 will be minus 16. Root 3 will be 3. So minus 16 into 3 will be minus 48, where I got the number. Friends, got it? Now we found the factors, that is minus root 8 root 3 plus 2 root 3. Friends, remember that while writing, listen carefully, while writing x1 is equal to 8 root 3. Why? Because here it is minus 8 root 3, but while writing the factors, x1 equal to 8 root 3. Change the sign. Here it is plus 2 root 3, so x2 equal to minus 2 root 3. So finally we find the factors for this quadratic equation, that is based on x term. So let me similarly move on to the y term, friends. Listen, the step number 1 to write minus 24. Friends, got it? Okay. Step number 2, we need to look at the number here, which is root of 2. So we need to, in both the side, we need to write root 2 root 2. And step number 2 is to multiply root 2 into root 2, that is 2. The number that we are going to multiply with 2, the resultant would be 24. I can clearly say that 12 into 2 is 24, so I can write this number as 12. Now step number 3, to bring here minus 1. Friends, listen carefully, here it is minus 6 and here it is minus 1. So in order to bring minus 1, I can say that 4 into 3 is 12, minus 4 plus 3. Friends, got it? So I am just going to write only minus 4 here and plus 3 here. These are the easiest way to crack these types of root that is based on quadratic equation. Friends, let me multiply. First of all, let me add both the numbers. Minus 4 root 2 plus 3 root 2. Right, is minus root 2. So I can say that minus root 2. Right. If I multiply both the numbers, friends, listen carefully. Minus 4 plus 3, when we multiply minus 12, root 2 into root 2 is 2, so minus 12 into 2, the resultant will be minus 24. But while writing the factors, you should be sure on that here it is minus 4 root 2, but while writing plus 4 root 2. Similarly, here y2, that is plus 3 root 2, but while writing it is minus 3 root 2. So finally we found the factors for x and y term. Now our target to compare. Friends, comparison is so easy, friends. Don't worry about the comparison, whether all the values are inside the root, whether the comparison might take you time. No, it is also easy, right? You know, my methodology is that I used to keep x1 as constant and compare with all y1 and y2. Just look at your friends, x1, that is 8 root 3, 8 root 3. I am just going to keep this x1 as constant, going to compare with y1 and y2, where y1 is 4 root 2 and y2 is minus 3 root 2. And x2, going to keep x2 as constant, which is minus 2 root 3 and minus 2 root 3, compare with y1 and y2, where 4 root 2, that is minus 3 root 2. So friends, in order to compare this value, which is also most important, that friends, root 2 we already know that 1.414, root 3 which is 1.732. so don't confuse, just take the root 2, that is approximately 1, and root 3, that is also approximately 1. Friends, got it? Don't confuse by multiplying every value with 1.7, 1.4, that will waste your time. So better root 2 is 1, root 3 is also 1, right? So 8, we know that root 3 is 1, so whether 8 is greater than or 4 is greater than, we can say that 8 is greater. Here plus term, here minus term, so I can directly say that this is greater than. But look at here, friends, I can say that this is greater than, and similarly minus 2 root 3 and here it is minus 3 root 2. Friends, listen carefully, root 3 is called as 1, so I can say that minus 2, and root 2 is also 1, so I can say that minus 3, whether minus 2 is greater than or minus 3 is greater than, minus 2 is greater than, where 3 values, where while comparing 3 values I can say that x is greater than, but one value is x is lesser than, so I can clearly say that x and y, the relationship cannot be established. So friends, this is the easiest trick to solve these types of the question that is based on root problems, right? So still there are 4 sums has to come, so watch all the 4 sums, where all the 4 sums are so different when compared to this quadratic equation normally you have solved. This upcoming 4 sums will be so different, so watch all the questions now. Now let me move on to question number 2. X square plus 5 root 3x minus 42 equal to 0, y square minus 8 root 2y plus 30 equal to 0. So friends, our step number 1 is to write minus 42, right? So minus 42, after writing, see the number 5 root 3, so we need to pick only root 3, right? So root 3 root 3. So this is step number 2. Step number 3, multiply both the numbers, root 3 into root 3, the resultant will be 3. So friends, the number that we are going to multiply with 3, the resultant should be 42. I can say that 14 into 3 is 42. Right, step number 3 gets completed. So our target is now to bring this plus 5. So I can write this 14 as 7 into 2. Friends, listen carefully, plus 7 minus 2. Friends, got it? Y plus 7 minus 2. If I add both the numbers, the resultant will be plus 5. So I am just going to write 7 root 3 and minus 2 root 3. Friends, got it? When we add both the numbers, 7 root 3 minus 2 root 3, the resultant will be 5 root 3. When we multiply both the numbers, 7 into 2 minus 14, root 3 into 3 will be 3. So minus 14 into 3, the resultant will be minus 42. But remember friends, while writing you need to change the sign. Here it is plus 7 root 3. So minus 7 root 3. So x2 is equals to, here it is minus 2 root 3, but while writing it is plus 2 root 3. Friends, I have in the previous sum itself I have told you one thing, that root 3 is approximately 1. So don't confuse by writing minus 7 root 3 and compare. Just better write this as minus 7 and better write this as plus 2. Why? Because root 3 is 1, so 2 into 1 will be 2. This is the easier way to solve this question, friends, right? So let me move on to the y term. Step number 1, to write this plus 30. Right? Step number 2, to write this root 2 in both sides. We know that root 2 into root 2 will be 2. The number that we are going to multiply with the number 2, the resultant should be 30. I can definitely say that 15 into 2 will be 30. Step number 3, to bring this number minus 8. So minus 8, I can say that 5 into 3 is 15, minus 5 minus 3. So minus 5 minus 3, the resultant will be minus 8. So we have bring this minus 8. So I can directly say that minus 5 root 2 and minus 3 root 2. When we multiply both the numbers, minus and minus, the resultant will be plus. 5 into 3 is 15, root 2 into root 2 is 2. So 15 into 2, the resultant will be 30. And when we add both the numbers, minus 5 root 2 minus 3 root 2, the resultant will be minus 8 root 2. So we have now found the factors. But remember friends, while writing, change the sign. Minus 5 root 2 can be written as plus 5 root 2, where y2 is equal to 3 root 2. So finally we found the factors for y term. So this is also, we can write it as, friends, listen carefully, 5 root 2, where root 2, we know that root 2 is approximately 1. So we can say that y1 equal to 5 and y2 equal to 3. Now comparison is easy, friends, right? So let me compare all the values. So by keeping x1 as constant, I used to compare with y1 and y2. The x1, which is minus 7, keeping x1 as constant, y1 and y2, which is 5 and 3. Keeping x2 as constant, which is 2 and 2, compare with y1 and y2. Just y1, I can clearly say that y term is greater than, y term is greater than, y term is greater than, right? By comparing all the condition, I can exactly say that y is greater than x. So I can write as x is less than y, or y is greater than x. So friends, remember that if this question is asked in IBPS PO, the upcoming exam, you should surely crack this question and get 1 mark in your exams. So let me move on to question number 3. Friends, in this question I am just going to teach you how to find the factors alone, right? Okay, 5x square plus 4 root 10x plus 8 equal to 0. Friends, listen carefully. In previous two sums, before x square we have not having any number, right? But in this case, before x square we have a number 5. So step number 1 is to multiply 5 into 8, right? So 8 into 5 will be 40. And step number 2, to write this root of 10 in both the sides, right? So root 10, root 10. Step number 3, we need to multiply root 10 into root 10, that is a 10. The number that which we are going to multiply with the number 10, the resultant should be 40. I can say that 4 into 10 will be 40. Now our target is to bring plus 4. So I can say that 2, 2. Friends, listen, 2, 2. When we add both the numbers, the resultant will be plus 4. So I can write it as 2 root 10 and 2 root 10. Friends, now see here, when we add both the numbers, 2 root 10 plus 2 root 10, the resultant will be 4 root 10. When we multiply both the numbers, 2 into 2 will be 4. Root 10 into root 10 will be 10. So 10 into 4, the resultant will be 40. Friends, remember that in previous two sums, before x square we are not having any numbers. But in this case, where before x square we have a constant 5. So we need to divide by 5. Similarly, divide by 5. So while writing the factors, which is x1, here it is plus 2 root 10 by 5. So I can write it as minus 2 root 10 by 5. x2, we need to change the sign, friends. Similarly, here it is plus 2 root 10 by 5. So while writing minus 2 root 10 by 5. So this is the factors for this quadratic equation. And let me move on to the question number 4, right? This is different question. I'm just going to teach you only how to find the factors. 4 root 3 x square plus 5x minus 2 root 3 equal to 0. So similarly, before x square we have a number which is called 4 root 3. So step number 1, we need to multiply both the numbers. Friends, listen carefully. 4 into minus 2, that is minus 8. root 3 into root 3, the resultant will be 3. So 8 into 3, so minus 24. Friends, got it? 4 into minus 2, minus 8, and root 3 will be 3. So 8 into 3, the resultant will be minus 24. And step number 2, friends, here there is no root value, right? So we can directly say that minus 24, in order to bring this 5. So I can say that 8 into 3 is 24. So 8 into 3 will be 24. But here it is plus 5 and here it is minus 24. So I can say that plus 5, that is okay, plus 8 and minus 3. When we multiply both the numbers, resultant will be minus 24. When we add both the numbers, the resultant will be 5. Remember that before x square we have 4 root 3. We need to divide by 4 root 3 and here 4 root 3. Friends, we already know that 1 4s are 4, 2 4s are 8. So listen carefully. While writing, we need to change the sign. Here it is plus 2 by root 3, but while writing minus 2 by root 3. Similarly, y2. Here it is minus 3 by 4 root 3, but while writing it is plus 3 divided by 4 root 3. Friends, always told you in many sums that don't confuse by keeping root 3 and root 3 as it is and compare, right? We can say this as root 3 as 1, approximately 1. So I can say this as minus 2, and here it is 3 by root 3, 4 root 3. I can say this root 3 as 1. Friends, got it? Root 3 is approximately 1, where this 1 3 divided by 4. So root 3 is 1, so I can write this as 3 divided by 4. So finally we got the factors for y1 and y2, which is minus 2, and y2, which is 3 by 4. Let me move on to the last question, and this is the quadratic equation that is asked in SBI PO 2016. Friends, one of my friend, after writing this SBI PO exam, that is by seeing this equation question, he told that I have left one equation question. I asked him why you have left the question. He told me that by looking at the question itself, every values are inside the root. So I have decided to leave this question because it takes me more than 5 or 6 minutes. I think that this takes me 5 minutes, so I better leave the question. Friends, it is so easy question. By seeing the question only, where you can find 4 plus root 13 plus 2 root 13. By seeing the question, you can find a lengthy, right? This takes only 15 or 10 seconds, friends. So easy, right? Follow the same procedure. First of all, let me multiply 2, that is 2 into 2 root 13, where 2 into 2 will be 4, and here it is root 13, so we can write it as 4 root 13. Step number 1. Step number 2, friends, listen carefully. In the previous 4 sum, where the number which is here will be 8 root 13 or 4 root 13, 5 root 13, like that. But remember that here there are 2 numbers. We can directly write this number 4 here and root 13 here. Friends, got the idea? Here it is 4 plus here it is root of 13. They itself have given a clue here. So we can directly write 4 here and root 13 here. See here, friends, here it is minus. So I can write as minus. Friends, got it? And here it is plus. When we multiply both the numbers, see here, friends, when we multiply both the numbers, that is minus and minus, the resultant will be plus. Multiply the number 4 into root 13, that is 4 root 13. When we add both the numbers, when we add minus 4 minus root of 13, minus is common, so I can write as 4 plus root 13. 4 plus root 13, that is, friends, and before x square we have a number 2, so divide by 2, where minus 4 by 2 will be minus 2, and here it is minus root 13 by 2. I think okay, let me keep this number minus root 13 by 2 as it is. But while writing x1 is equals to plus 2, we need to change the sign. X2 equal to plus root 13 by 2. That's it, friends. So easy, friends. Let me move on to the second equation, right? So 10y square minus 18 plus 5 root 3 root of 13y plus 9 root 13 equal to 0. This is also looks so lengthy, right? Easily we can solve. First of all, let me multiply 10 into 9 root 13, where 10 into 9 will be 90, right? So here it is root 13, so 90 root 13. Don't forget, here it is plus. So step number 2, look at here, friends, 18 plus 5 root 3. They have directly given a clue, so you can write as 18 and you can write directly as 5 root 3. That is 5 root 13. I think here it is minus, so I can say that minus 18 minus 5 root 13. So friends, when we add both the numbers, so minus of 18 plus 5 root 13. When we multiply both the numbers, 18 into 5 will be 90, and root 13 minus and minus, the resultant will be plus. But before y square we have a number 10, so divide by 10. I think we can cancel this on 2 table, right? If I cancel this on 2 table, that is 5 and here it is 9. I think cancel on 5 table and 1 by 2. So friends, here it is minus 9 by 5, but while writing it is plus 9 by 5, and y2. Here it is minus root 13 by 2, but while writing it is plus root 13 by 2. Friends, and next step is to compare a value. So by keeping x1 as constant, we need to compare with both the y values, and similarly by keeping x2 as constant, we need to compare with all the y values, right? So x1, which is 2, friends, here it is, right? X1, which is 2, so going to fix 2 here, and x2, which is plus root 13 by 2, so plus root 13 by 2, similarly plus root 13 by 2. This is my methodology, friends. I used to fix x1 constant, I used to compare with all the y terms. Y1, which is 9 by 5, so 9 divided by 5. Y2, which is root 13 by 2, similarly y1, which is 9 by 5 and root 13 by 2. I can say that these two values are equal. Friends, see here, 2, 9 by 5. I have already told you in many sums that how to compare a value. Just cross it. 5 into 2 is 10. Whether 10 is greater than or 9 is greater than, I can say that 10 is greater than. And here it is 2 and here it is root of 13 by 2. Friends, in previous two sums where root of 2 is taken as 1 and root of 3 is approximately taken as 1. But here root of 13, what we need to do? Friends, listen carefully. Root of 13. We know that root of 9 will be 3. And similarly, root of 16 will be 4. Friends, got it? Root of 9 is 3 and root of 16 is 4. We can definitely say that this root 13 will not be exactly at 3.5. It will be when compared to, see here friends, 9 and 16, I think the number which is 7 difference, so I can definitely say that this should be 3.6. the root of 13 will be 3.6. why it is below, not below 3.5? Because 9 and 16 the difference is 7, so exactly it won't be 3.5, so definitely this will be 3.6. So I can say that root of 13 will be approximately 3.6. so friends, let me divide this. 3.6 divided by 2, I think 1.8. Whether 1.8 is greater than or 2 is greater than, friends, I can say that 2 is greater than. And similarly, root of 13, which is 3.6 divided by 2, which is 1.80, right? And 9 by 5, which is 1.8. I can say that both are equal, friends. Friends, got it? Root 13 by 2, where root 13 is 3.6. So 3.6 divided by 2, which is 1.8 approximately. And similarly, 9 by 5 is also 1.8, right? So I can say that either greater than or equal to. Why either greater than? Because we doesn't know whether it's exactly 3.6 or 3.7. So definitely it can be either greater than or equal to, so I am just going to keep it as equal to. Why? Because here it is 1.8 according to our concept, so I can make this as equal to. We already know that 13 by 2 equal to, by comparing all the four conditions where x is greater than, and in this two condition x is equal to, so I can say that x is greater than or equal to y. So friends, where most of the students have made a mistake is that they took this root of 13, that is approximately 3. Don't take the number as approximately 3. If you take this root of 13 as approximately 3, the entire answer gets cancelled. That is, entire answer will be wrong. Why? Because we know that root of 9 is 3 and root of 16 is 4. And most of the people have confused how you took 3.6, whether it can be 3.5 or something. Friends, listen carefully. Here it is number 9 and here it is number 16. 9 and 16, the difference will be 7. Friends, got it? 9 and 16, the difference will be 7. I can say that the center number will be 12.5. Friends, got it? Between 9 and 16, the center number will be 12.5. So this root of 13 will be more than 12.5. I can definitely say that this root 13 will not be less than 3.5. So I have took this as 3.6 and get solved. So remember, friends, if you take this number as 3.4, your answer will be wrong. If you take this number as 3.2, your answer will be wrong. So you should know this concept clearly, that between 9 and 17 there is a gap of 7 numbers. So the center number will be 3.5 more, so I can say that 9 plus 3.5 will be 12.5. So between root 9 and root 16, the center number will be root of 12.5. If the center number is root of 12.5, then definitely root 13 will be more than 3.5 something. So I can write it as 3.6 and then I have calculated a value. So finally we got x greater than y for this quadratic question that is asked in SBI PO. So friends, these are the patterns are most important. This can be asked in IBPS PO upcoming exam. So kindly download this video and share to all your friends, those who are learning IBPS PO. They are mainly targeting on IBPS PO. So if your friends are preparing, so give this video to all your friends so that they can also learn this new pattern. Thank you so much for watching this video. Bye.